This is Ashish Sadekar from ProThoughts, and today I am going to talk about a Keep It Simple series for project managers. And today's topic is a very hot topic, is about status reporting. So I can see people joining now on the webinar. Okay, as people are joining, okay, I will take 2 minutes grace time and we will start at 20:05. Till that time, people who know me, okay, know me. People who don't know me also, okay. Here is a little brief profile about myself. Okay, so people who are joining, you can keep on joining. Also, some basic rules. Okay, if you have any questions, anything that you want to say, please be free to talk on the webinar. Okay, nothing stops you to interrupt me. You just need to put in the question panel your kind of whatever you want to ask, and I will be promptly responding to you. If needed, I can unmute you so that, okay, you can talk with me as well. Okay, I'll just test it now. Everyone can hear me out. Can somebody type yes? Can you hear me, guys? Can somebody type in the question panel yes? Can you hear me all? Nobody's typing. Okay. Oh yeah, I got somebody. Yes, okay, thanks, Samir. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks. Now I'm getting answers. Okay, very good. Okay, great. Okay. So guys, I'm going to start today's topic. Okay, I'll let people join on the way. Time is valuable for all of you who joined on time. So I'm going to talk about what is keep it simple. Okay, and then we going to discuss. I think it's going to be a little more interactive because status report, it is very much one of the crux of the project management. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, do we need the reporting, how we need to report, what are the key elements of status report, the do's and don'ts of status reporting. Also going to suggest some templates for you, and then I'm going to show you a software tool. I'm going to bring the agile perspective as well, some takeaways from agile as well. So there is a lot to talk actually, but I'm going to summarize in say 45 minutes my whole discussion, and keep some 10 or 15 minutes which I generally keep at the end of the session for any questions to be answered. Of course, you can also ask me questions whenever you think is the right time to ask a question. Please be free to interrupt me during the entire webinar. Okay, so let me see why we have kept this, and this is kind of my idea to keep it simple series, because I think the way, it's my personal experience. Okay, so the way we do project management, uh, we make it more complicated than it seems to be complicated. Okay, this is my personal observation. Okay, for example, okay, we make the plan on different dependencies. Okay, whereas, okay, the focus should be on 3 4 activities. So I think, okay, we are making things complicated. Similarly, okay, status reports, okay, we make probably it a little more complicated than it should be. So I thought, if we do things in a little simpler way, in a little better way, I think, the project can be managed a little better. Okay, so that's the name of our series. Keep it simple, and let's see how we can add value. Maybe you can take it with you and probably try it out in your projects. Okay, so let let me go through this thing. It's a little bit about ProThoughts for the people who do not know us. Okay, we operate on two sites, prothoughts.co.in and talkprojectmanagement.com. Talk Project Management is the learning ecosystem. Okay, provides all the content to the ProThoughts site, and ProThoughts deals with learning services and software, project management software. So I'm going to show you the software today. Okay, so this is what we do. Okay, these are the two sites. Okay, these are some of our customers. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about much. Okay, just to give you a little introduction about us. Okay, we do 4 modes of delivery, which is corporate training. Of course, we do it with corporates. We do online, classroom, and e-learning. Okay, so I'm not going to spend much time on this, and I'm going to jump straight away to the topic on hand. Okay, so do we need status reports? Okay, I don't know about you guys. Okay, I hope that you guys are doing status reports in your projects, but a good consultant's answer would be it depends. Not all projects generally require status reports. Okay, or they do not report the status in the manner we do with a lot of projects. So a good consultant answer, it does depend. Okay, but in general, most likely scenario, my answer would be definitely yes. The status reports are needed in a lot of your project. Even if it's a month-long project, you generally report the status of the project through a report called status report, right? Okay, I'm going to go a little more basic, although you know a lot of things. Okay, but I'm trying to actually decode the word status. Okay, so status dictionary meaning, Oxford, okay, Weber dictionary meaning is the situation at a particular time during a process. And if I take that in the project management context, okay, and no, if you guys have done the PMP, I know some guys who already done PMP. It's actually, when I'm calling a situation at a particular time, it's actually comparing the actual raw data, what is happening on the ground, with the plan you have on the project. Okay, so that's what I will call a status report at that particular time. So if it's like on the Friday of the week, I will compare what is the actual data and versus the planned data, and that's what, when I compile it in a report, I call it a status. Okay, so that's the project management definition. Okay, so you need to have a plan to report on the status, otherwise I don't know how you guys can report on the status. Why I'm saying that? Because some of the projects do not have a good plan. Okay, so status report becomes a little far-fetched in that, but generally a lot of projects do have a plan. So this is, now I'm setting the context why we need a status report. Now I'm going to give you an example from my perspective, which I have observed. I do a lot of consulting assignments, and I have observed the, okay, how projects do status reporting. So if there is a project manager and there is a weekly status report, generally a lot of projects which I have experienced do, okay, a weekly status report. So you have a project manager and the weekly status report is supposed to be done at the end of the week, say Friday. So on Thursday, this lady project manager is going to request, okay, individual status from a 10-member team. Just for example, let's assume it's a 10-member team project. Okay, so you're requesting statuses from each team member, which the project manager will collect and compile and send the status report. Now, out of this 10-member, 6 member may promptly give the statuses to the project manager, what they are doing, their job, what is happening on their project. But the rest 4 requires a little more chasing and more follow-ups. Out of that, 2 people might give by the end of Thursday. There are 2 more people who require a little more follow-up, maybe a little escalation as well to get the status. By Friday morning, hopefully the project manager gets the status. She compiles the report, okay, of the project. Now, before it is sent to the actual sponsor or the customer, the management request for a review. So not the management decides to do the review on Monday 11 o'clock because all the people will be there. The project manager arranges a call on Monday with the management, which they give, no, not all people come. 4 out of 4 key stakeholders, 2 only come on 11 o'clock, but they finally give their review comments, and the final status report is compiled by say lunchtime and it's sent to the customer, and the project manager discusses this report with the customer on Wednesday. Is this a good example of doing status report? What do you guys think? Anyone wants to put their view? This is, I have seen generally this happens in a lot of projects. Is this a very good way of doing status reporting? I will come to it what should go in the status report, but the way of doing status reporting, anyone has a comment? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. So Neha is suggesting, okay, uh, this is not a good way of doing status reporting because, okay, you are, okay, okay, you are okay, no, doing it little later. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Yes, I would agree with you, Neha, because um, the what you are presenting the status of the project is actually, okay, okay, yeah, it should be, yeah, Venkat is also saying something. No, there should be a shared drive where each stakeholder should have a correct deadline to update their status. Ideally, yes, and you can actually, that should be a good idea where there are deadlines and you can penalize if they are not updating. If there's a disciplined team, well, good, okay. If you have deadlines and people update, but I generally seen people following up, okay, out of 80% or 70% people actually follow. Project managers actually require a lot of follow-ups and a lot of collation of the data to prepare a status report. The Okay, thanks, Venkat. The 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 bad part about in this whole status report process, which I call Muda waste, is that the first of all the status report is not valuable at all because, okay, instead of Friday, I told you what is status, right? At that particular time, what is actual versus the plan. You are discussing the Friday report on Wednesday. I think it's a stale report. That report doesn't carry any sorry, any value for the customer, except for the case that the project management manager is sending the report. The formality is done, but there are a lot of things which have happened Monday to Wednesday which are not captured in the report. So it's like a delay stale information. I don't think it's that valuable. If you had sent on Friday, it would have been good. But okay, the other part is that the way the project manager and the team is spending their efforts on the report, it's too high to produce a stale report. Imagine a 10-member team, even they are spending say half an hour to update the task. It's like 5 hours. The project manager is literally spending 2 working days on the work, compiling, collating the report. The management team, expensive resources, spending say hour or two on this. They're literally spending sorry, they're literally spending, project managers 10-15 hours, they're 5 hours, 20-25 hours, okay, in a week to produce a stale report. And if I take $100 per hour as their rate of the resource, which the bill for or the burden rate of the resource, it does come to around $2,000 per week to create a stale report. That's pretty expensive, isn't it? Now, in Indian rupees, 2000 is 1.5 lakh rupees. 1 lakh 50 1 lakh 50,000 rupees. And if there are 4 weeks in a month, it's like 6 lakh rupees to create 4 reports. I don't think it's valuable enough. So I call it muda, the waste, okay, of doing things. So one is I'm going to tackle two things. One is how to report on the status and how the status report should be to create a value. I'm just putting the context straight on this. So these are the okay general examples of the status reports. But I do agree that status reports are important. Okay, one, it gives you a complete picture on how you're doing with the plan. So you had the plan, now how you're performing on the ground, you get the status. It this helps to create the intelligence and therefore predict the future on all project elements, and therefore to make some critical decisions on the project. Okay, so status reports are important. Okay, so how to go about doing that is something which I would like to discuss. Okay, one of the things I think, okay, one of the key elements of status reporting, and I am of the opinion, of course, okay, I'm not, okay, details should be there with the project management, but do we need to report it in the status report? I would not, be in favor of that. Okay. Now, first of all, you need to determine who is your audience. Okay, to whom you are sending the status report. Status report can be sent to any of the stakeholders. It is not important, that I need to send it only to customer. Status report can be sent to whoever you need. They can be consumed. Okay, they can be key stakeholders, they can be high power stakeholders if you go by the power interest grid, or they can be just interested stakeholders. So depending on your audiences, you need to see what should go in the status report. That is the first element. So if it means that you need to create two status report, generally may not be required, but in some projects it might be required, very, very large projects. You need to create that two status report, because idea is to give that intelligence to the different stakeholders that can help to, one is decision making, the other is the buying of the stakeholders as well. Okay, the second aspect, I have just simplified the whole status report for you. I will show you some templates as well. Okay, the second aspect is to bring focus, what you want to show in the status report. Okay, I am of the opinion, okay, what activities should be there, what are the activities you have done, what are the next week's activity, um great, but I think that can be useful. No, you can see that through your plan as well. Do you need to report in the status? I am not too much keen. I would not recommend that. Okay. Although many projects do that. Okay. No, this week activities, this are there, this is pending, this is the next week activities. Okay. But idea is that on what you are accomplishing. Are these activities leading to a particular result, or that deliverable is going to be missed? So we sometimes, this status report generally is to the senior management. That's how we prepare. So the milestone reporting is a better way. And no, can the focus shifts from activities to results. So you have accomplished certain things, and if you can show that, that will be much more value adding than showing that what are the efforts you have put in your project. And the third most important thing which I normally talk with a lot of project managers is that to spell out the risk and issues. I think this is completely missed, or we do not give a lot of importance to what is, predict or anticipate things, or if there is a critical problem, how you are going to resolve that. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you should not tell the good news. You also tell the whatever you accomplished. Okay, don't say the bad news, but no, people are more interested that can you anticipate the bad things in your project, okay, and therefore, okay, take care of that. I think that would be more important. So so if you put these three things in your status report and have a clarity, okay, very very short sentences, and keep it simple, I think you have done a pretty good job of status report. If you have put 4 or 5 pages of status report, I don't think it helps. So with this, I'm going to now go into some do's and don'ts of the status report as well. Okay, just checking if anyone has a question. But so, what exactly you are reporting? See, I kept this open. Okay, there is no kind of a rule to say that this should be included in status reporting, this should not be included. Like I said, one of the parameters is depending on whom you are reporting to. So there is no such practice like, no, you should not report this, you should report this only. So I am telling you from my experiences. It may apply or may not apply to you, okay, but I have seen that it helps, okay, to do reporting on that. So no, definitely you need to know this amber, green, red. I don't think that helps actually. The project is in amber or red or red. That people should understand. No, you don't have to put. That is your perspective of the project. So, but you should tell what are the things that are coming, how you are going to resolve it. So these are some of the things which you are going to report on. So I have shared some do's and don'ts. Okay. So this might help you guys. Okay, so there are a lot of things, but I just summarize on certain thing. So when you are, okay, bad news, okay, when you're sharing, you should share the bad news. When I say don't share, is not don't share. I'm saying, okay, you need to talk, do share the bad news, but when you share the bad news, do talk with the key stakeholders before you put it in the status report. So sometimes some stakeholders get a little surprised with some of the bad news that you're putting. So even if it's a risk or a issue which is going to be in the future, you need to have the key stakeholders buying before you put in that. So that is one of the things. And you do communicate the bad news. And the more earlier status report you communicate the bad news, you're setting good expectations for the project to run smooth. The second part, okay, I don't copy it as a template. Make it your own status report. So no, like this has helped me. Okay, from one of my mentors tip. Okay, you should be, you should not treat someone and make him a scapegoat. Everyone is helping you in the project, and there are problems, say, in another department, and that's why they are not lagging in time or whatsoever. They are not giving you the right resources, whatsoever that problem is. So don't, if you want to point them out, okay, point them out, but do it in a little nicer way. Be nice, be kind to people in the project, in the report. Okay, so do add sugar to the report. Okay, I'm not saying be flattery or something. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. But okay, no, you are going to build bridges in the project, right? You are not going to cut the bridges. So okay, be kind, helpful to people. Okay, now when you are also projecting, okay, anticipating, okay, problems, risk in the project, okay, also mention that what you think are the resolutions, or at as you discuss with the team or the stakeholder, mention the resolutions, and if possible the deadlines, how we are going to solve the project. Okay, mentioning the problems will not help. Or even you mentioned risk, how you're going to take care, what is the person who is going to take care, what is the budget you require for that. Do mention all these things. Okay, I think your thought process, your quick actions are much appreciated. Okay, and you're not going to, there would be a lot of risk in your risk register, you're not going to mention each and every risk. Okay, you're not going to fill the risk, with that. You're going to age out a risk. So you're going to mention for a period, okay, which is the near future, be it a week or 2 weeks. And if the risk is not happening in that supposedly period you want to have, you need to decrease the probability of the risk or the impact of the risk, and slowly age it out from the status report. You can't have the same risk and the risk is not happening in the status report for the entire project duration. So you need to constantly monitor the entire thing. The other thing now with the technology, I think one of the good things is that some people would love to get into details, and I think you as a project manager should have a detailed things with you in case some people ask you. A good thing is to provide hyperlinks because it's a software, and people can get access to the details, be it through your shared folders, be it through your project management tools. Okay, put hyperlinks for people to understand the reports in details. Okay, give them a lot of hyperlinks so they can actually get into that details. So you can actually add on a second page a little, like I generally add reports, like the variance reports or the earned value reports, and I provide hyperlinks to my tool which they can get into more details and understand. Okay, a final thing which I think uh, which is very very elementary, but a lot of us don't do that, is to uh, check. You will not never get the perfect report, so I think you need to improve with every status report. It's not like the done thing, and nothing is perfect. So once you do the status report, check with different people, how, what is the feedback, probe them, get the feedback on the report, try to alter the report. Okay, ensure that it is helping and adding value to the different stakeholders, and it's not a waste. So it is helping other stakeholder to understand the problems, understand the progress, how, what is the status of that, and what you are going to do about that. I think that picture should be very clear, and therefore you should have that discussions with your team and your key stakeholders. So these are some of the elementary do's and don'ts, okay, that you can always practice on your status reporting. Okay, I'm going to give you free templates as well, and that's a detailed one which is available on the site. You can actually go and upload it. I will send you a link. I will request my marketing team to send you a link, and you can download the templates from the site. But these are the different status reports which I have collated for you. Okay, and there are a lot of templates available on the net as well. Okay, you can create, personalize your own things as you deem it necessary, but the idea is to show, okay, uh, the key things, and get the buy from the customer or the stakeholders. Okay. Now, I don't know how many, no, there are a lot of people on the webinar. Thanks for attending, but there are a lot, Agile is now coming up in a good way, and the approach for the new era is hybrid approach, where the projects in different companies will adopt both methodologies, the traditional one, which is like the PMP waterfall, as well as the agile methodology. So we call it the multi-speed organizations, where some teams will be operating on agile, some teams will be operating on both the methodology depending on the work they do, some teams will be only on traditional. So it is a mix of two worlds which will come into being for the next 10 years or so till something new comes up, by the way. But agile, okay, agile, when they do reporting, they call it information radiators, okay, rather than store fridge, where they store all the information. They radiate information, agile. Okay. uh, uh, Going to agile is developed as, okay, how we can be better from the traditional. So that's how the agile is born. That's for another webinar, but I had done webinars on agile. But radiators, when I say radiator, they believe in doing pictorial graphical representations of how the project is doing. So one of the key elements on how the project is doing is velocity. Velocity in Agile is amount of work done in a sprint. Sprint is a small project, okay, or a iteration. It can be from 2 weeks to 4 weeks generally. So how much work you will do in that sprint? Work can be represented in Agile by story points. So they actually build that, is my work increasing over a period of time, decreasing, maintaining a constant. So this is a good chart to understand. And the burn down chart is like your status report. What is the ideal amount of work you will do per day, and therefore what is you're actually are doing, and you can get variances on a burn up or a burn down chart. Okay. Agile, okay, does a daily stand-up meeting. It's not a status report as such, because they think that status report doesn't provide the actual feel of the report. So what they do are conversational stuff, where they can have, it's between the project manager and the team, and that's not between the customer, which is the product owner, but it's between the project. They actually check on the stand-up meeting 3 questions. Okay, what you did from the last daily stand-up. So from the yesterday, what is your task for today, and are there any impediments that you face for doing your work? So these 3 questions are answered here, and it's a very quick way everyone talks on that. So that is not a status report, but that's like a stand-up. Now many projects in traditional way use these stand-ups, okay, to make it as a status report. So I have seen projects doing a daily status reporting. It's not a daily stand-up status reporting. So the project manager asks in a traditional team what you have done yesterday, what is the status of today, and they do that. Actually, agile, this is not a status, but people have imported these stand-ups in traditional as a status. So can be good, sometimes it helps, sometimes, okay, the objective is lost. Okay, so you need to do micromanagement. If the project demands, this might be good, okay, but for large projects may not be good. Okay, so they have the backlog reviews. There is product and the sprint backlog. So ideally the sprint review, it can be called as a status report, that how the sprint was planned, how it actually happened, and what are the retrospectives or learning from it. So every methodology does require status reporting. The idea of status reporting, okay, to keep it simple, you can, if you want to borrow anything from Agile, I think the graphics can be a good idea to do that. Okay, so if you can do a simple graphic from Excel in a pivot, okay, that can give a lot of more data and a lot of intelligence for people to read. And here I'm going to talk about the software tool nowadays people use. So there are many software tools. I'm going to give you a little perspective of this. So rather than doing it in a Word format, nowadays there are free tools, from paid to free, whatever tools are there, which helps you to create a real-time status report and gives you graphical formats, okay, grid formats to report your status, where you don't have to chase people to provide your status. It's automatically calculated in a collaborative tool, and you just do a real-time status reporting. So that tools nowadays enable a lot of higher productivity, and that tool is an enabler for managing your project. So I think that can be looked into. Okay. So these are very very simple tools, and that can help you to generate real time status reports. Or you can, if the project is small, perhaps you can use Excel as well to create a little more graphics on your status reports. So I'm going to do a simple 5 to 10 minute demo for you guys, and show you the little aspects of the collaborative software tool, okay, on status reporting. So this is uh, the project. Okay, so this is a project. So if I go to this project, this is a tool called Project Insight. This is one of the top tools in the United States, and we have now customers in India as well. So if I go to this project, I'm just directly jumping into things. Okay, let me go to a view called Task View. So this is the project plan. Okay, so you have the plan, and then actually you can, people have updated the actual hours. Let me show you. I can, change my views accordingly. People have updated whatever the actual hours, the resources, as they're doing the work on the project. So there was a plan. People have updated when they are doing the work, if the work is complete, the percentage complete, or the work status done. So the actual status is also updated on the plan. And if I go to the status, real time status, okay, it calculates your real time status. So it gives me a summary of how much work has been done at that point of time when I'm checking the status report. Okay. It also tells me which are my critical tasks. Okay. There are none in the thing now. Okay. What is my budget? Okay. And this calculates earned value calculations. Okay, it gives me a forecasted thing as well, and if I want to go into details, it will give me the details on SPI and CPI as well. This is a little advanced. Okay, so there are some tools which can give you basic information, and you can actually create this report and send it as a PDF as well as a report, like you do in a traditional way. So these are very good ways to create a real-time status report. Okay, they have now this Kanban kind boards called status boards, where you can actually uh, change the statuses as you complete the work. So the easy way of doing the status report and then collating the status reports. It's a little graphical, so that's why it's taking a little time. So you can actually, as a project manager, team member, you can change the statuses as you want, and automatically the project statuses change. And then you can compile a real-time status reports. Okay, so that's how you can do a lot of these tools help you to, imagine the earlier example I gave you, that there is a 10-member team and the project manager and the team spends some 20 to 25 hours creating a status report, straight away save that much money. So these are the tools which will enable your project management, enable increase your productivity on the project. So these are the other ways to create graphical reports for your team. There is a lot to actually show you on the tools, how the tools will help. But my objective of today's session was to help you understand the basics of status report, and give you some insights from my experience that how to create a very simple status. I have a couple of more slides, but before that, just want to check with you for your questions and answers if there. Yeah, Venkat, sorry, I missed your comment. I agree with. Yes, oh yeah, Venkat, yeah, correct. So I agree that yeah. So if so, great. Okay. So Venkat is saying that he has been asked to convert some reds to amber by avoiding negative language. I think you are referring to adding sugar, I guess, to the yeah no, while reporting it. So you don't want to offend unnecessarily anyone. Maybe that's where you are referring. But yes, yeah, true. Any questions? Yeah. So I don't know your name. You're at type YYYY, but yeah, he's saying that reporting in presentation mode rather than word will help, right? In my or no word is allowed for any exam. Okay, yeah, you can use any tool, that you wish to use. Okay, depending on your convenience and who is going to read your report. So what is the audience and how they are comfortable. Yeah, the idea is that sometimes no, I also like presentations, but presentation you need to flip some slides. Sometimes in one page you might get the entire status. That might be also helpful. So in one presentation, if you can, one slide, if you can provide the status, nothing like it. Okay. It might be more pictorial. Some people do it in Excel as well. So the medium is not important at all. What you need to show them is whether you are achieving the results as planned, and what are the threats and what are the problems and how you are going to tackle that. Okay, so give them confidence with each status report. That's what you are trying to get, and therefore get their buying and set their expectation. That's the whole game of project management. So you're using the status report for your own advantage by getting the buying from the stakeholders, getting their trust in the case, building a rapport with the stakeholders. That's what you're doing with each and every status report. That's what you're trying to do. Right. Okay. Then one more question. Okay. Yeah, one more question, Ashish. Will this tool, my insight, send any notification stakeholders if they miss an? Yeah, you need to configure that, but yes, that is there. You can actually send notifications to stakeholder if they miss on updating any mandatory fields. If there is a mandatory field, you can actually make it mandatory. Without that, the tool cannot proceed. So and if it's not, you can send a notification. Is absolutely, you can do that. Can you describe the velocity report, please? Okay. Can you tell me your name, because you're type YYYY? It will be helpful to get your name as well. Okay. Velocity report. Okay. It's a agile report. Okay. Velocity, like I said, tells you how much work that in a sprint is a project of 2 to 4 weeks, how much work you are accomplishing in every sprint. So if I look back in a 1 year cycle, if I am doing 10 sprints, okay, so what is, as a team, how much work we are accomplishing in every iteration or sprint. That's the report you have. I don't have it handy, but you can actually check it on the internet if you can get a velocity report. So what it tells me, suppose there are story points. So a story point is like a feature that I am developing. So one feature says have 5 story points. So in a sprint, maybe I am developing, on an average 30 story point. In one sprint, I develop 20 story points. Second, I develop 30. Then in the third sprint, 35. In the fourth sprint, again 35. So the velocity report says that what is my capacity as a team to take work. So I can predict after say 6 sprints what is my capacity, and therefore I can estimate how much work I can take as a team. So the velocity report tells me that. Okay, Srini. Okay, thanks. Yeah, yeah. So this is you're going into little agile world, but Srini, but yeah, my today's topic is about status report. But your current release you are saying is 2 weeks a sprint and another week for stabilization sprint. Yeah, of course. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So the you can have, yeah, stabilization sprint can be, the hardening sprint. Yeah, sure. Okay. Any other questions anyone has? Okay. So how can we have the issue fixed from the server? So issues generally, okay, Srini, are identified, okay, in the that's how the agile is, okay, at the early stage of the project, okay. So I didn't get how the issue should be fixed from stabilization sprint. So you are saying the issue occurred in the stabilization sprint. So maybe we can have a call, Srini, about this. I might be asking wrong question, wrong. So join you in the right webinar. I think that would be great, Srini. Okay. Okay. Maybe I can understand how it is and we can discuss in detail. We'd love to discuss with you. We have webinars on, uh, no, on Agile, a lot of webinars on Agile, in fact, and we'll happy to answer your question on one-on-one as well. So please be free. Okay. So I will happy to connect with you on LinkedIn, on phone, and we can always have a chat on the things. Right. So any questions on the status reports? Okay, it's a very big, open, no, very subjective kind of topic. There is nothing like a said rule on the things. Okay. Yeah, sure, sure, Srini. Okay. So the software I was talking was about Project Insight. Okay, you can read in details on that, on our website www.prothoughts.co.in. ProThoughts also offer different certifications on SAP, PGMP, Microsoft Project. Also, we are coming up with Prince2 and Scrum Masters, certified Scrum Masters shortly. Okay, and once you subscribe to our e-learning, you will get a free templates. Okay, the status report templates you will get. There are, I think, 30 templates which you can use for your projects. So you can do that. Sorry about this. So, guys, in a nutshell, okay, like I said, there is no such rule or said practice that this needs to be there in status report. This, no, no, it is very very subjective, and as project management, as status reports, it's an art and a science. Okay, the idea is to, okay, do it more and master it as you do it more. Okay, so keep your eyes and ears open, monitor it regularly, include what works for you, discard what doesn't work for you. Okay, ensure that your status report, the way you are reporting and what it contains, is not a muda, it's not a waste. Okay, rinse and repeat. Okay, take the feedback. Okay, do do check and do call out if the status reporting is working for you or not. It's okay to discuss with your team. The team will not get offended if you say that the status report is not the way it is working out to be. Okay, so let's discuss that. Okay, I will be also happy to discuss your status reports, happy to understand what you are doing. Like I said, the idea of status report is to have it simple and clear. In fact, if you think you need multiple status report because there are different audience and two different report, do that. I saw there is nothing like you need to have one status report catering to everyone. May not require, but keep it simple and clear. That should be your first philosophy, in my mind at least. Okay. No, if possible, no, try to see if that do's and don'ts which I said apply to you and try to follow that. Okay. I'm a big fan of tools. Okay, they are good enablers and that increase your value added time in status reporting. Okay, so you should decrease your non-value added time, like collecting information, collating, preparing report, okay, sending the report. Okay, like in Agile, face-to-face discussion, value added time. There is no non-value added time. There is no time to create documents. So that is non-value added time. So use tools to increase your value added time. Okay. So I hope this was useful to you, at least some bits where you can actually do it in your day-to-day reports, in day-to-day projects. I will be very happy to take your feedback in terms of how it is applying to you, know the new things in your status report. Also, if you want to discuss and get my feedback, we can have a constant discussion as well, where I can help you maybe to give you some inputs or tips on the status report. So happy to connect with you, be in touch with you, and help wherever possible. Okay, so what you're waiting for, improve your status reports right away. So if you need more information, call us on, mail us or call us on these numbers. We would be happy to help. Personally, I would be happy to help you. Okay, on anything. You can get connected with me on LinkedIn. Okay, call me. I will be happy to help you as well. Okay, this is very important, the way we do status reports. So I hope that this 1 hour of your valuable time was useful to you. Okay, and you take away something which you can implement in your projects. Okay, so any questions before I sign off? Okay, if no questions, anyone, then okay, we do represent the status as on target or behind target. There is a question here. Okay, address as a first, but how, but I'm just reading the question, excuse me for that, but somehow cannot mix risk and achievements in single slide. It does not look good for executive. Love to connect with you on future. Yeah, absolutely, Srini, happy to connect with you. Okay, you can create 2 slides if that information is necessary. Okay, so of course, how you need to present it is definitely required. So you create 2 slides, nothing like it, but okay, try to provide it simple where people can read and get it. If you can use graphics, well and good as well. Okay, so you're coming for the next session, so I can connect with you personally as well, Srini. Sure. Thank you so much, okay, for your valuable time, and okay, and wish you all the best and stay connected. Thank you so much.